Shout out to Jay Calderon, Boxing Talk.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Jay Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's boxing talk. We're going to do a recap on two of the fights that took place this past weekend. First up, on Fox Television Network, it was PBC bringing you the big showdown between Julian J. Rock Williams, who pulled off a massive upset of the year against Jarrett Swift Hurd in his backyard. This fight right here turned out to be a shocker for a lot of boxing fans, but it was a fight that I knew that it was going to be a very good fight because I've been a fan of J-Rock since the beginning of his career. I've watched this guy. You know, he took a very hard loss against Charlo when he got knocked out, and a lot of people wrote him off. They said that his career was done, that he didn't have a chin, that he was going to get knocked out against Jarrett Hurd. Now, I'm a big fan of Jarrett Swift Hurd. I love this guy a lot. This guy is a humble guy. I've met him several times. I've done an interview with him as well. And he is the best fighter at 154 pounds. He was the unified champion, and I was picking him as the favorite to win this fight in the later rounds. We know that he's a notorious slow starter, and this is his downfall in this fight right here because J-Rock was on his game, looking very sharp from the beginning of this fight. In the second round, he landed a very big left hand that dropped Hurd to the canvas right up against the ropes. This was a big moment for J-Rock because it gave him the momentum that he needed to push forward. The tremendous heart that this man has, the determination that he had to win this fight, he did not let up. He had the quicker hands in this fight right here, letting off those shots, ripping to the body and to the head. He established a very nice jab in the early part of this fight where he was snapping that jab, and it was a sharp jab that J-Rock was delivering. Hurd just was stuck into the second gear and he couldn't get it going. We know that he always starts to put the pressure on and starts to use that size advantage that he has in the second half of the fight to wear down his opponents and try to break them down for the knockout. But this was just too little, too late. He did apply that pressure in the later rounds, but in the 8th round, you saw J-Rock still looking fresh, still looking hungry, letting off those ripping shots and just letting those hands go. He was not going to be denied that night. He was definitely on his A game, fighting the best performance of his career because everything was working for J-Rock. He did not get hurt in this fight. He did not get knocked down. This man stood on his feet and he stood on his ground with some great inside fighting because J-Rock was outworking Jarrett Hurd, who's a very good inside fighter on that inside, and he was just taking over the fight round after round. I had J-Rock winning 9 rounds to 3 in this fight. I just couldn't see Jarrett Hurd winning no more than 3 rounds in this fight. You know, I'm very on the fence about this fight because I like both guys a lot. I've been a fan of J-Rock, and I've also been a very big fan of Jarrett Hurd. And I wanted Jarrett Hurd to win because this guy is a very humble guy, and I saw him as the best at 154 pounds. And I wanted that fight that everyone wanted was against Jermell Charlo. That was the fight that we were supposed to have, but in 5 months' time, we have seen 2 changings of the guards at 154 pounds in the junior middleweight division when Tony Harrison upsetted Jermell Charlo in a controversial decision, and now we've seen J-Rock beat Jarrett Hurd. So, you know, this was a fight that a lot of boxing fans were calling for, but PBC, you know, decided to marinate this fight, decided to prolong this fight from happening, and now both of these guys have lost. This is something that Bob Arum used to do with top-ranked fighters back in the days where he marinated the fights too long, and we missed the big showdown between Yorkis Gamboa and Puerto Rico's Juanma Lopez. That fight right there never happened because of what Top Rank did by letting that fight prolong, and both of those guys lost. So now PBC did the same thing, and they're doing the same thing in the heavyweight division with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. You know, one of these guys could possibly lose, you know, their next couple of fights, and then it's all over for the big showdown that we've been all waiting for. So right now, boxing fans are going to be looking towards 2 rematches in the junior middleweight division, and we already know that the stage is set for Tony Harrison to rematch Jermell Charlo in June for that WBC title. And Jarrett Hurd has already said that he wants his rematch. He had an immediate rematch clause in the contract, so he's definitely going to have a rematch with J-Rock sometime this year, and it's going to be another great fight. And this is a very big comeback for the career of Julian J. Rock Williams, and I got to tip my hats off to this guy. You know, he said in a post-fight interview that Great fighters take losses. Guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, all these guys took big losses. Even the great Roberto Duran got knocked out in 2 rounds against Tommy the Hitman Hearns, and he winded up being a great Hall of Fame fighter, a 4-division world champion. So this perception of being undefeated because Floyd Mayweather set the bar of being great and being undefeated, a lot of people are emulating that role, and a lot of fans are really saying that if a fighter takes a loss, then their career is finished, that nobody wants to even see them anymore, and they're nobodies. And that's not true, because a lot of fighters throughout the history of boxing have lost big fights, but it's how you come back is what makes you a true champion, who makes you a great fighter. And this was a great opportunity for J-Rock to showcase that on a higher scale for a lot of fighters that take that first loss. How do they come back? How do they face adversity? And J-Rock did that in this fight right here by fighting the great fight that he did and putting on such an excellent performance. And now he holds 2 of the major world titles at 154 pounds. He's the unified champion. He looks on for a bigger payday with a rematch against Hurd. Hurd has an opportunity to bounce back from his first loss. He didn't get knocked out like J-Rock did. He got beat down and he lost. It was a decision loss in his backyard. Now he has an opportunity to probably go into the backyard of J-Rock and snatch that title back and become a world champion again. Who knows? We could probably see a trilogy between both of these guys. It was a great fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. And definitely the winner could also face next year in 2020, the winner between Jermell Charlo and Tony Harrison for that 3-belt title unification. We all know that we're never going to see somebody like Jaime Munguia, who holds the WBO title. He's an outsider because he fights over in the zone with Golden Boy. So he's most likely going to move up to the middleweight division. And if Jarrett Hurd wins this fight and doesn't get Charlo next, or even Tony Harrison in a rematch, or even a trilogy against A-Rock, then he needs to move up also to 160 pounds because he's a big man. Who knows if he's struggling to make weight at 154 pounds. He's destined for the middleweight division. I know that there's big fight opportunities up there for him at 160 pounds, but a lot of those guys are on the other side of the street, and it's going to be very difficult to make those fights. But at the junior middleweight division, he has a lot of options on the table for him. But I just wish him all the best. I know, keep your head up, champ. You'll be back. You'll be champion once again. As for J-Rock, congratulations on the great win. I look forward to bigger and better things for you. Now, also on that night on ESPN, it was a top-ranked card with 2 Mexican rivals in WBC super featherweight champion Miguel Berchelt defending his 130-pound title in a rematch against former world champion Francisco Vargas. This was a fight that was sure to be a Fight of the Year candidate, and it didn't let down at all. These guys went at it like rock'em sock'em robots. In the first round, these guys went right at each other, wasted no time letting those hands go. We know the tremendous heart of Francisco Vargas, that this man always comes to fight. He always in a very big Fight of the Year candidate type fight. And he did not let down one bit as he showed his tremendous heart that he has going forward, not taking a step back and just letting those shots go. Miguel Berchelt, a very excellent boxer and also a brawler with tremendous heart, has improved since he won the title 2 years ago against Francisco Vargas when he stopped him in the 11th round in that first fight. And in this fight right here, he looked even better, more sensational. The way he was ripping shots to the body and head, letting off those combination shots, and also setting up the big right hand and left hooks that he was delivering, and those uppercuts on the inside. Miguel Berchelt was sensational in this fight, and he was able to stop his man in 6 rounds when the corner said enough is enough, and Joel Diaz, the trainer of Francisco Vargas, said that he did not want to see his fighter take any more punishment because this guy was getting ripped up to the face. He was bleeding all over the place. He has several cuts. He has very bad scar tissue in the facial area. He always cuts very badly in fights, and he was just taking a meaningless beating because he was down on the scorecards and he was going to lose this fight no matter what. And he didn't really have a chance to really stop Miguel Berchelt because Berchelt was very, very good this night. And he retains his WBC 130-pound title. So what's next for Miguel Berchelt? He called out at the end of the fight the winner of the upcoming fight that's going to be happening in a few weeks between Japan's WBO junior lightweight champion Masaki Ito, who's going to be facing U.S. Olympian and U.S. Marine Corps veteran Jamal Harrington. This is a fight matchup that's going to be a very good, entertaining fight. And I got to tell you the truth. I like Miguel Berchelt over both of these guys. I think Miguel Berchelt is the best 130-pounder in the world. I had an interview recently with IBF champion Tevin Farmer, and I told him that I believe that Miguel Berchelt is one of the top guys at 130 pounds. And he agreed with me, and he said that he would love to fight Miguel Berchelt by the ending of this year. I don't know if that fight could possibly happen. Hopefully it could. It would be a great unification match between those two. We know that Gervonta Tank Davis is the biggest star, the biggest name in the 130-pound weight division. He holds a secondary title of the WBA title, but he is not going to face any one of these guys. He's not going to move up to face Lomachenko. He's not going to go over to the Zone to fight Tevin Farmer, and he's not going to go over to ESPN to face somebody like Miguel Berchelt. So who is he going to fight? Yorkis Gamboa is the rumor that's going to be the opponent to face Tank in his hometown in the upcoming months. And that's a fight that a lot of boxing fans already know the outcome of that fight, which is a knockout victory for Tank Davis. So, you know, we need a big fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Miguel Berchelt because, like I said, you have the biggest name in the division and the best fighter in the division. A matchup between those two is a matchup that Floyd Mayweather needs to put together. If you want to see the best versus the best, these two guys right here are the two number 1 and number 2 guys in the division to really show who's the best fighter at 130 pounds. And it's a great fight to make. Let's make it happen, Floyd. It's a fight that the fight fans really need to see. But that's my final recap on the fights that took place this past weekend. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to this YouTube channel right here, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you get all my notifications once I drop a new video. Make a comment. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Follow me on all social media platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, and join the Facebook boxing group page, all under the same name, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. Check out a lot of exclusive videos that I did down in Las Vegas. I have about 9 exclusive videos for boxing fans. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks for your support. Keep watching and please subscribe.